I'm going to give a disclaimer on this because this is very, very personal to me. This has given me nightmares, given me dreams, things to look forward to, given me anxiety. It's all over the chart. This is when I've tried to discuss it with people of the community, I get blasted for trying to weasel my way into some position that I, honest to God, am just trying to talk and point things out. And if this video does get out there and some of them see it, I can guarantee that they are going to ignore this entire setup to this video. So, for those of you who like all the other videos that I put up, they're all at face value and they're my experiences alone with some things tweaked, but the facts still remain. This is one of the ones that has a lot of gravity to it. So, the Blues Cruise Letdown. This is not about my dear friend who had an emergency and had to leave mid-cruise, but this is about the lying POSs I dealt with that same week. A passenger who played and sometimes helped run a jam from the same city that I lived in and my family had helped him get onto the previous cruise told me that he'd have me come up and play guitar in a good situation if it arose. A good situation being that on these cruises you could jam and you could play. You run a jam. All of us amateur musicians would go up and sign up and play if we felt comfortable. We would have fun, and some of the big wigs were known to come by and play with us as well. So this guy, I worked with him for a long time and worked very closely with him. So we tossed bones to each other. He got on the cruise thanks to my family's help, and in return it was supposed to be, yeah, I run it, so you get to chew the fat. You don't get just the bone. Well, this musician, I had a disagreement because I had worked for him for free for many months already, and he needed a new frontman guitarist, and I said I'd do it, and he rejected me, but still wanted me to play for free, which I stopped. But we were still on decent terms. He had lost the gig because he didn't have his act together. So he didn't know that I was kind of upset, but that's the business. That's how it works. Life goes on. But when you make a promise on something like this, and the cruise is not cheap, and to have expectations not met on something like this, well, I digress. There was a situation where he chose another guitarist over me, and a once in a lifetime chance was gone. This cruise, the host had been running a jam, and both Johnny and Edgar Winter came up to play. Edgar got on the drums. Johnny was on guitar. They needed another guitar. This guy was on his instrument, and because of the disagreements, actually, I don't have a true reasoning why. I can't even remember what I said to him after the fact, but he wrote me off. He chose someone else to go up and play with them, and the jams are a sign-up list style thing. Some of it you can do by contacting the person, which I had actually known this person, and I was the one for it. Some of them you could sign up on the old forum online, and I had done that too, to be one of the first guitarists anybody could hear, and it's a blessing. It's a privilege to be part of these things. This, he fucked me over. And then later that same cruise, the actual friend had introduced me to the top dog as, hey, this guy's a multi-instrument player. He's great on acoustic. He's great on electric. He plays piano. He'd make a killer host. And the day after this friend had the evac for a health situation in his family, I ran into the same gentleman, and he said, oh no, I hadn't heard of you, and that gentleman, when he told me about you, blah blah blah, it's like, oh cool, double talking, gotcha. If you're not interested, just say you're not interested. I don't know why people have an issue with that when it comes to business. Well, he acted like he'd never heard of it and handed the host position to an arrogant musician who made the jam about himself and not the musicians waiting. Worst experience ever. This guy, this is a song from my blank album, we gonna do it like this. And it became self promotion. It was sickening. A lot of us were upset visibly, but I've never seen anybody speak out against it. I don't know if the blues community would blackball someone for doing it, but since I've been trying for over 10 years to become part of the blues community, they're going to accept me or not. I can care less. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I've tried to introduce myself. I play music, I do this, I've studied music in college, I play these instruments, and people, well, where are you from? This area? Haven't heard of it. Who you vote for? Doesn't matter. How it matters to us. Okay, so the music isn't about the music to a lot of the individuals, which is sad and sickening. So I spent the rest of the week in the spa since nobody else on the boat wanted to enjoy any of its amenities. Massive disconnect, massive waste of time, massive waste of money. But the 2 cruises before were phenomenal. I made some of the best music friends I had ever met. I just wish my last experience wasn't so bad. But I'm probably alone, and I will probably get fire and brimstone for speaking out and having some of the views that I've got. But hell, I've carried dead bodies for a living, stopped fights, stopped rapes, kicked people out of places they shouldn't be, brought people to the Lord. I can care less about the opinion of some entitled, wealthy aristocrats. So, take care.